So remember in the last video how I said I built those legs out of C-channel and that I had a plan for them? Well, the wood finally got dry in the kiln, so here's the plan. I'm going to cut out some inserts here. I only needed a straight board for this, but there were a few spots on the slab that I wanted to be in the insert, so I had to finagle it a little bit to get it in there. I'm learning some things in this sawmill to kiln to shop process. If I know down the future that I'm going to use something as a board, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the board on the sawmill rather than cut it into a slab and then later cut it down. I should just cut it as a cant on the sawmill. It would save a ton of time. It's so much easier. Here I cut the board for the insert in half. This is not a structural element, so it didn't have to be too thick. It really was just there to complete the look. Some trips through the planer and these boards really started to show their grain. I started out sanding with the old trusty, but then I realized I'd be doing this like 10 times faster with the new sander. So I put the rigid on the bench and went to work with the Bosch. And this thing just sands so fast, it's crazy. Here I just kind of put this where it's going to sit in the C channel and made 2 marks so that I could make a template. Here I made a template marked on a board and then just marked the same distance from each end. This was because the C channel has a bevel on the inside of it, so in order for that thing to sit in the bottom, I needed to have that bevel in order for it to sit flush. So I just real carefully put a 10 degrees cut. It maybe cut 3/16 off in the corner of these. The test fit sat down in there with no issues. Perfect. After sanding, grabbed the armor seal and went to work on these pieces. This can was just the right amount for the table and the leg inserts. We couldn't ask for more. We maybe have 1/8 of an inch left in the can. Since I cut the boards thin to keep them lightweight, I needed something to bump them up to flush them out. So I measured the distance and the difference in the board, and then I cut some strips out of 3/4 inch Baltic birch. Here's the bottom piece. I knew I didn't need anything spectacular here. It just needed to sit in there. So I cut a height and decided to kind of make an H here. This would allow it to be supported on both ends. Also, it would keep the board from doing any bowing or anything. Grabbed some CA glue and went to town on these, just gluing them on the bottom. You might ask why I didn't use wood glue on these. It's because they're just supporting their own weight, so really the CA glue will be fine. As you'll see here, this thing fits good, and this is why I didn't put magnets in the bottom, because I knew once I put it in there, the other 2 inserts would hold this thing in. On these, since the legs are at an angle, it made sense to bevel the ends of these so that they would fit up flush against it without leaving a gap. It wasn't really necessary, but I thought it would look better if I did. Again, here I just put like about a 15-degree on them. I didn't go anything spectacular because all you're going to see is the face of this board. Everything else will be hidden inside the metal. On these, I cut the boards just a little bit shorter for their support in length. And my plan all along here was to be able to put these in easily. At first I had thought about doing some screw brackets or something, and then I realized, man, I have a boatload of these rare earth magnets laying around from a project probably 15 years ago. So my plan was to drill holes in the bottom of each of these. I was going to put one of these at each end. Really, 2 magnets is more than enough to hold this piece in the upright position. I wasn't real precise on these. I just took a Forstner bit, found the center of each piece roughly, and drilled a hole deep enough that the magnet would fit in there and fit flush. This is 4 pieces right here that are end inserts, and I cut all of these to like 3 inches at the beginning. Luckily, I'm more thorough coding at my job than I am recording videos in the shop, so I can just chalk that one up to forgot to record it. So here I'm coming back over, basically gluing, spraying the hole, taking the magnet, sticking it in, slide the magnets out. Take the glue, spray the hole, wash, rinse, repeat. All that was left here was for me to glue the end magnet pieces down. I figured a magnet on each end would hold. These things are super strong, so. And here's the big reveal. It dropped in and stuck just like it should. And it's actually hard to take this thing off, so I think in the future I'm going to use something like this again. I don't know on what yet, but it's going to happen. It's kind of crazy how much redder this elm looks, even though it's from the same tree. I guess it's just a little deeper in the heartwood. Feels good to finally have this thing done. As usual, if you made it this far, like and subscribe.